I used to play a lot more games online because one day I realized that all I was really doing was babysitting other people's bratty kids for free. Come on! Hey guys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, this is Chuck. I'm back with my PAX Day 2 walkthrough of what happened with the custom button remapping petition. But what I want to show you right here, this is what I was handing out, a little packet, 2 pages I was handing out to developers. The first one talked about who benefits from remapping, why developers would sell more games. And at the bottom there were 2 pictures of Splash Damage, who's doing Brink, and FireHose Games, who I will talk about in a few moments, because they support remapping. So please, if you get a chance, check out their channels. Yeah, give them some love, because the developers that start out and support this, we need to support them so that they realize that they're doing a good thing, and then other developers will want our loving too. And then page 2 of the packet I was handing out was just comments I've received on the petition. There's a Google document I've been collecting as I've been going along, and some of the comments are just so heartfelt and so amazing. Like people talking about their younger brothers and sisters who have, disabilities, and they want to play, and if they had remapping, they'd be able to play with them. And that stuff just touches your heart. I like the one that's right there. It says lefties have righties too. Because if a game doesn't put in left-handed layouts, then hello, remapping for the win. So the comments were just really nice. So I had these 2 packets and a little card that I have that I was handing out to people, and I gave this to each developer I talked to. So what I did was I looked at the floor plan, and here's a pic of the floor plan, and I just kind of went around the edge of the map. I traversed the edge of the map, and I didn't have my Ghost Pro on. And because that's where a lot of the indie developers were. And I realized from the beginning that indie developers are kind of the people who are going to sort of start this revolution. And because if you can get an indie development house involved, as they step up to bigger games, they'll, bring remapping along. And they would also push the bigger development houses and studios into doing remapping. So I kind of, and that's what I did the day before. I kind of plotted out my course and figured out who I was going to talk to. I went over to FireHose Games, and Eton is the CEO or the lead guy over there. And FireHose, they contacted me actually before PAX. They said they wanted to meet, and Eton was talking to me, and he's really cool. Great guy, and really nice, and totally is about remapping. I'm going to do a dual com with him, talking about their new game, Slam Bolt Scrappers, which has remapping, which is really awesome. And what was neat about him is that as I talked to other developers and they saw FireHose Games on the first page, he was somebody they always brought up as being really nice and kind, and that was interesting because it just shows, again, that his personality, and definitely a good person. So you've been watching some gameplay of Slam Bolt Scrappers and also the remapping that's in there. And they have a one-handed mode. They call it beverage mode, one-handed mode. But that could be for a one-handed gamer. They could play this game. They have it built in. So that was FireHose Games. Their channel's on the screen. Stop by, let them know you appreciate their efforts, and I'll post a dual com with him, with Eton, at some point in the near future. And I talked to a few more. I talked to basically all the developers I could get my nubs on, my hands. It's a handicap joke. I talked to Ubersoft. They make Monday Night Combat. When I went into this, I was going to talk to console developers, but then I realized if I don't talk to PC developers too, because at some point PC developers might jump into consoles and saying, hey, when you do, bring remapping with you. I talked to one guy, Mommy's Best Games, and that was Nathan. And he was the CEO. And I went up to him and I was like, I'm here about remapping and talking about custom remapping in consoles. And he's like, oh, well, hold on, let me stop you, because I already do remapping in my games. He's on Xbox Live, but in the indie development store. So I'm not sure, because I'm not on Xbox Live, what that actually means. But that's where his games are. And his YouTube channel's on the screen too. Stop by, give him some love, let him know I sent you. I would appreciate that. And that was something I consistently saw, was when I was talking to developers, that some of them just, again, hadn't thought of it, didn't realize it would be something that would help them sell more games, would be something that would help disabled gamers enjoy their games. And that was nice to see, that maybe they just hadn't realized it. And this is something that I've always realized would be something we would start slowly. This isn't going to be something that we are going to see adopted industry-wide right off the get-go. At least they got him thinking about it, and that was exactly how it needed to go down. So then I did an interview with my buddy Craig at Hot Blooded Gaming, and here's a clip from that. And Craig, what I like about Craig, he's been supporting this petition from, might have gotten involved 1,000 signatures. Old school, like now the petition's over 53,000 signatures. And so his website, Hot Blooded Gaming, he does a lot of live streaming and stuff, but I just really appreciated their help and their support, and you can check out his channel, and the full interview with me is up on his YouTube, so check it out. So yeah, those are some of the developers. Another one was YYRGAMES, and that developer, I was talking to him at the end of the day, and he was like, thanks for bringing this to my attention. I'll make sure that I add remapping to my games. But he was somebody who made his games are pretty simple, but what's cool about him is that like there's one where you control a snake or something, and you can use either analog stick or the directional button on the left-hand side of the controller, or the 4 buttons on the right-hand side, or the L1 and L2 buttons to steer the snake. And I was like, wow, that guy he made sure you could use, and then you could turn off the ones you didn't want to use so you didn't bump them. So that's a developer that is thinking about, accessibility and making his game playable, and that should be commended. So there's a link there too. And if you can check out a few of these links, maybe just drop a note in their comment box or whatever, because that's good. Because then they'll know that we appreciate it and that it's going to be beneficial for their business. And then other developers will be like, well, I want the love too. Yeah, maybe. So at the end of the day, I stopped by the Demiurge booth because I knew Elena Sigmund, the woman who sings the zombie songs, was going to be there. And we had been talking on Twitter back and forth. And I met her, and she's awesome. So cool. And she is a developer, and she said that she totally supports remapping. That was nice to hear. I was just ecstatic, and that's her too, The Nazi zombie songs, they are awesome. So we talked for a while, and what was nice is that as we were talking, the show floor room was all closing down, and they were asking people to leave. So we were talking, and what was nice is that everybody cleared out. So then, as on my way out after talking to her, and there's a link to her YouTube channel and also the studio and their new game, Shoot Many Robots. But as we were walking out, I wasn't walking, I was rolling, of course. Gosh, people are so particular. Yes, I'm handicapped, I can't walk, I'm not faking it. But as we were rolling out, I was able to stop by and talk to Portal 2 developers and Rockstar, which before that, if you had been to PAX or had seen it, it was a madhouse, crazy show. No way I could even get near the booth. So with this, I was able to talk to them, so I'm glad I lollygagged a little bit. And Rockstar even sent me an email saying that they wanted to talk about it a little bit more, so that was exciting. So at the end of the day, I handed out some 30 packets and just had a great experience. I'm going to do one more video, guys. This was date number 2. I'm going to do the video saying where do we go from here and what can you guys expect with the button remapping petition. Thanks for your support. Thanks for sharing it with friends, family. Game on, gamers. Pieces in your creases.